that's what I was going to ask you guys, because it's like I've seen kind of the rhetoric back and forth online where so many people are saying stock market's at all-time highs, it's time to start selling, it's overbought, like it's pushing too high, right? But then there's people who are coming out and saying it's not just doing it for no reason. You know what I mean? It's not like we're seeing this rally based on meaningless, pointless, like just hype or hopium like we've seen before in the past. It seems like the AI bubble slash boom is actually creating earnings and revenue that's then creating higher valuations. So it's one of those things where it's like, are we getting to a point where it's getting too high, or is this actually just it reassessing the value that we should assign to the market based on all of the new reports recently?
I feel like I've seen from like the markets, right, is like, obviously I'm the more degen one of this group, right? I was like staunchly against Meta, but then Meta crashed 10%. I'm like, take all of my money. Like something like that going down, I want to buy it, right? This is a massive company with multiple things that I use every single day. It's down 10%. That's an opportunity. Let it drop 50%. I'll buy even more, right? But I think to answer your question of like, you know, the stock market at all-time highs, it just simply will correct, just like it has done, right? And it will just continue to do that and slowly grow. So yes, you could say, okay, we're at all-time highs because of all the good stuff that's happening. Loads of good stuff is happening, but loads of bad stuff is also happening. But I think the important thing is just expect like extreme volatility in moments like this, right? And then just buy assets like what Sam is saying that, you know, generate and increase like what they like the expectations. They do better than their expectations. And just understand that if you're going to buy essentially anything in a market where there's, or like we're on the cusp of a world war, but the stock market is at all-time highs. If you're going to be buying, yeah, you're probably going to be fine in 10 years, but in between that 10 years, you're going to sustain like madness of volatility, right? So I think it's easy, it's very hard to explain why the stock market right now is at all-time highs, but it's also very easy. Yes, earnings are great. Companies are beating expectations. The Mag 7 are doing awesome, but then there's also loads of companies that are doing badly, and the, you know, the geopolitical landscape that we're in is absolutely horrible. So it's just, I guess, a case of zooming out and then just riding that volatility.
Yeah. Also, if you have companies that are growing like Nvidia 60% a year, whatever they're doing, 70%, even if they're priced cheap, like right now, I don't think Nvidia is actually that expensive. On a forward price to earnings, it's at a 21. Like, even if it doesn't get much more expensive, even if it stays the same, but they're growing revenue and earnings per share by 70%, like naturally, it will go up 70%. The share price will, even if it's not like, unless it gets cheaper on a price to earnings ratio, which I think it'd be really hard to get under it, like much under what it is today when it's growing this quickly. Unless it starts slowing, right? Which I think is what a lot of people think will happen. That's why it's not very expensive, because major companies can't spend all that much more. They're spending every dollar that they make, putting it into Nvidia chips, basically, and AMD. But like these companies don't have to expand in multiple. Like they don't have to get more expensive. If they're growing like this, they can just naturally continue to have the share price increase. And like Amazon just announced that they're doing this big like new line of business where basically you can use Amazon even if you don't sell on Amazon. You can use Amazon's shipping and fulfillment. Like I didn't even think about that, and that could be a $100 billion in 2 years, because there are so many companies that have no reason to sell on Amazon, but they have to send parts across the US. And as time goes on, as AI keeps on getting better, like this will be automated. A lot of it will be automated by, drones or by robots or whatever. So like, there's just stuff that we don't know about right now that's going to, I think, continue to increase productivity. And yeah, I don't want to be all cash as we go into the next 10 years, because I think the people that are all cash will just get decimated.